Howdy, welcome back to another tank build doodah. The Zimmerit arrived from ATAK, so I'm super stoked about that, and now I am genuinely looking forward to progressing some more. I've been doing a bit more research and reading more comments and looking through some threads here and there and watching more videos and stuff, and I'm getting more into it. I've got all the parts cleaned up and things like that. Still on with painting. I've started going really to town with like the detailing of it, just to get it all right before it all goes on for weathering and stuff like that. The Zimmerit kit from ATAK. So we'll have a little look at this, and then I'm gonna have a work out what I need to do, and then we can get that fitted and then move on a little bit more. So yeah, exciting times now. You can probably see this is just a hen long. I've had a few of these. These are what I just normally run about and have loads on me low loaders for me 1/14 scale stuff which I build. There's more in the channel if you have a look through. I'm not really a tank person. I don't mean any offence by that to anyone. It's just never really been my thing build wise. I've always found them interesting to watch, but as a build, and yeah, I definitely love to build more because they are really fascinating when you get into them. I want to try and make this the best I can, just to be a load on one of my trucks. So I'm not bothered about the full functions of it, as I've said in previous videos, but as long as I can drive it, I'm not bothered about all the turret moving and everything and all the recoil on the barrel and stuff like that. I'm just happy with it functioning, driving, just so I can drive it up the ramps, load it onto my low loader, load it off, etc. So the first thing I noticed are these, which are replacement parts, as I thought when I looked at the images online. The only reference I have at the moment is my manual, and all I know this part as, which I will be replacing for this one, is B19. So I don't know what that's called. As I've said in all the videos before, if you're new to watching this, I've never built a tank before, ever. So it is literally all a new learning curve. The other part is this, which is part of the machine gun. Now, I haven't opened it up to look at the manual yet, but I'm presuming these are like just molds that we have to break it off and then clean it up. It's like a excess, it looks like a beam, and it's on neither of those. So I'm presuming that's gonna break off there or cut off and then get that cleaned up. So we have a replacement machine gun part and that which I know as B19. So they can now go in the box with the rest of the unused parts. And also, I on a lot of my 14th scale trucks, I do actually run these tag and shackles, the metal ones, and use them every now and again. I do happen to have 4 here, which are for a Tiger 1, but I don't really suppose it would make any difference in replacing these plastic ones out for these metal ones I have here. So those can also go in the box. So the Zimmerit. So here we have like a basic manual there. It doesn't show you a physical manual, but I think it's all pretty self-explanatory by the shape of everything, unless there is something else in there. But it tells you how to apply it by using milliput, which I have from having a little practice at trying to do my own Zimmerit. I've never done it before, so that's why I've gone for this ATAK kit. It wants to be applied with a putty if necessary. Now I would have used a synthetic cement, haven't I? Had just read those. This, when I actually received it was all quite well packed in a box. You know, it would have fit in a much smaller box, so it most definitely wasn't at risk of damage. I had to ship this in from Poland. I think the price is irrelevant, but It's all here on sheets, all various parts. And it's also given me a good idea of what the Zimmerit and the scale of it should actually be, should I wish to do another tank and apply Zimmerit again in the future, as long as it's this pattern. So yeah, here's all the various sheets. Yeah, and it is all self-explanatory by all the holes and things like this. I've started cleaning up some of these resin parts that came in and took them off, like the blocks and stuff that they were moulded on, so they're cleaned up. And I've removed just a couple of sheets for now. As you're aware, I'd already added the parts to the back door. These here, which I'd glued in also, I've removed those because those in fact sit on top of the Zimmerit. Had I had planned the Zimmerit in the first place, then none of this would be glued. The rest I don't want to mess about and end up possibly breaking it by removing these parts. So this sheet does in fact slide over to an extent, but as that is only resin and I don't want to bust that either, I am just going to break it in certain sections and then work it around where I need to get it the best I can. Hopefully you shouldn't notice once it's all done. So for this part I'm going to leave that till last because that's like a lot of fiddling around. I'd gone through these basic instructions. Like I said, there's no physical picture diagram, but there are basic explanations. I've just spent ages researching and reading, looking on what to use to bond the resin to the plastic. I don't want nothing too quick setting that I can't move it around, and basically everybody just recommends super glue. So I'm in a bit of a pickle with that one. So for now I've just gone out and got a couple of Gorilla super glues, and then I've got my poly cements and things like that, and I've just picked up another like CA glue there. It's the first time, it's all trial and error, you know. If it goes all tits up, it goes tits up. There's nothing I can do about it. I've never done this before, never built a tank, never Zimmerited. I only learnt what Zimmerit was when I was starting this tank and looking into it. So it's becoming quite an headache, but not an headache in that respect. I wish I'd have just built it and painted it pink and just give it my daughter to play with. Should I have researched everything beforehand, then obviously that would be a different matter and I'd be happy building, knowing what I'm doing and having more knowledge on the tank. But yeah, at this moment I'm kind of just thinking I should have just blasted it pink, give it my daughter and be done with. But it's one hell of a learning experience. I'm loving it and I'm looking forward to just getting on. On the actual manuals it says like to use a 400 grit and place your resin upside down on it with the Zimmerit facing, and then we can go over the back of that with some finer grit and just scuff up this shiny side. And again I'm going to scuff up the tank just so the glue gets a good bond and a good bite, and it's got little cracks for the glue to seep into there. So with the Zimmerit facing down on that sandpaper, just going to lightly go over the shiny side and try and de-sheen it. And now that's not feeling as like silky, it's feeling all nice and rough now. So now I'm just going to do the same to the upper part of the hull and all around here where Zimmerit's going to be applied. And again I'm just going to rough all this up. So now we've got a key around the hull where I'm going to be applying the Zimmerit. You'll have to bear with me, I'm absolutely full of man flu at the minute and dying. So my head's kind of not with it, but it is. So yeah, created a nice key. I'm going to go and wash that off. Just wipe off any excess dust on the back of there that we've scuffed down. let that dry off, and then we can start applying some Zimmerit, hopefully. So I've created a key on all the upper hull, all around there, and also this, I just found this on the Zimmerit. Now you kind of have to play about, it doesn't tell you what bits go where, so you have to kind of look at stuff and get a match. So I've just found this, and I think I am going to actually start with this piece because it's smaller. So you can cut these out, or they do just fold, and you can carefully fold it and break it toward the edges and then peel that off. Or you could carefully go around it with a blade and break it off that way. But a lot of the bits where there's just big flat edges, I'm just using like the fold and break method, and then I'll just slowly run like a scriber around there, just a scoring, and then that breaks off a bit easier. And then all I'll do is just carefully run my file. Getting any excess resin. Now these are delicate sheets, so you do want to be careful. Now, just before I do any actual sticking of any Zimmerit to the tank, I am just going to have a play about. I'm just going to rough up the shiny side of the excess parts of the resin sheets, and I'm just going to find some old plastic from some old kits that I've chopped in the past and stuff. I've got plenty of scrap plastic around, and I'm just going to experiment with gluing it just so I have an idea of how much time I have to stick it, and whether I can play about with moving it around on the tank to set it into place. So before we do any Zimmerit, let's just do a couple of little practice runs with some crap. So straight away it's sticking to my fingers, but I do have time here. I'm just a bit worried because it says it sets in 10 seconds. But it doesn't really help being kind of white on white, but you can see I am getting time to actually move that around, and not only that, it's putting more coverage underneath. Wiping actually on top of the Zimmerit pattern to squeeze out any excess may be a bit of an issue, but we can always seal the edges in if we can't get those to like stick. So as long as we get a bond underneath for now, we can always fill under. But yeah, that's set to place. So that gave me what, maybe 15-20 seconds just to play about and move. Now I know these Zimmerit sections aren't like one complete section. They are, I think it's divided into two, I believe. So you have like one half and then another half. So that should give me plenty of time. And with that having a brush, that makes it a bit better than just glooping glue on. I did pick one of each up, I didn't know what I'd prefer to work with. So far I'm happy with using this Gorilla Glue. We all know it's a good strong CA glue, so I can't see the Zimmerit coming off like in years down the line. But I'm kind of happy with that, and I feel like I'm happy and confident to start gluing some bits. I am nervous as hell. I chop trucks and all sorts, and customised trucks, and man, this is giving me the jitters. Just like applying decals, surely. Anyway, here goes nothing. Wish me luck, guys. feel like I'm running out of time. So that's one piece on there. I do feel like I didn't give myself enough time there. But it is on. I feel it could be just going up there like maybe half a mil to a mil or so. But I ain't going to worry too much. Like I say, it's my first ever attempt. So I'm going to probably need to just clean the edges up. But no, yeah, we're going to have to think quickly for this one. Anyway, there's the first stage, and I did read on the instruction leaflet that it might discolour the Zimmerit, which it slowly is doing, so there's nothing to worry about there. However, I am worried about these bigger sections. It is quite flexible, where I guess maybe glue a bit, put it on into place, then glue a bit more, put it down, glue a bit more. So I've just cleaned up the edges where it's overhanging, and I wouldn't say that's a too bad job. Just need to run a bit of glue or some putties and stuff in the edges later down the line, but yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that bit so far. It is only a small bit, so I will stick with the small parts for now. So I've just noticed on one of the sheets, they give you that to replace, but then by the looks of it, they also give you Zimmerit as well to add to the standard Tamiya part. So that's pretty cool. If you're unhappy with that, then you can go ahead and Zimmerit your own. So this square piece, according to the manual, it does say to apply Zimmerit on the lower part of the hull here at the front, I believe it is. And looking at that, that looks like that's just gonna sit in there maybe. I just need to trim that down. Like I say, I should have known all this first, then I could have applied the Zimmerit before I made any further progress. So I need to clean this area up, clean the back of that up, and just shave a slight little bit off each side, just then it sits in there nice and flush. So there are the odd bits where I'm going to have to get under with a cocktail stick or something under here, just to fill in little gaps on the edges. So that's a couple of little bits done so far. Now I don't really want to bore the socks off you because we are already quite a way into this video. I know we've like unboxed the Zimmerit and kind of had a look at it and stuff like that. I'm going to do another section, and then we're probably going to have to break this down into two parts. But that's not a bad thing, because that means in the meantime I can start getting some extra paints for airbrushing and things like that. So I've just had another go with some scrap on a piece of plastic here. This was using this MX Bond 601, a surface incentive. This is a CA super glue. Now this is thinner than the Gorilla, but doesn't have a brush, but I found it gave me a little bit more time to move it around. So it's all trial and error, and it's just finding what works for me. It's just a shame that I have to find it out on this tank. Now I don't know whether to apply this glue to here or straight to the surface. touch wood, this has just given us enough time to get it on, but probably not move it into place. Just a little bit of slidey will do. Stuck to my finger. I don't think that worked out, did it? So that was a failure. I'm getting left very little time, so I am just going to do it like this. Now I'm going to attempt to get the edge on, and it lined up in that respect. So I got a little bit of time here to move it around, and then I think I'm just going to have to apply the glue as I go. So yeah, the method worked on the smaller bit, come to the larger bit it didn't work. But a method with just a Gorilla Glue and sticking some down and then a bit more and a bit more and a bit more, that's working for the coverage on the larger area for me, I think. So I've got the front of the lower hull, I've got the front of the upper hull, and we have this, I think, is it where the gun barrel goes? And the turret come on the turret, and the gun barrel comes out of there or bolts to there, this part. I know it's not much progress as far as Zimmeriting goes, but for a first timer, it's a daunting task. So I'm going to wrap that video up there, and we'll come back next week and conclude the Zimmerit. In the meantime, I can get a little bit more practice and trying other things for what works to speed up the process for the rest of the tank. I don't really believe there isn't much more left to do, but it is just a time consuming thing. So thanks for watching, guys, and until next week, I shall see you then. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and all that. Ciao for now, guys.